The Human Torch just dropped in Marvel Rivals, and I did what any sane person wouldn't. I played him for 10 hours straight to see if he's actually good. And let's just say I have some thoughts about him. The Human Torch is a ton of fun, but if you're expecting to carry your games, you might want to pick someone else. Right away, I noticed something. The Human Torch does a lot of damage over time. It's almost like you're a Bluetooth tickle monster. You're very good at setting up kills, but you're not that great at getting them yourself. So if your team isn't really following up, then you're kind of just feeding ults. You basically just become more of an annoyance than a threat. In short, he's not really a carry hero. You're useful, but you're not winning fights alone. Instead of trying to be a duelist, the Human Torch works best when you try to lock down an area with your Pyro Prison, spamming your Blaze Blast for pressure, farming your ult as fast as you can, burning tanks, blowing them up, and healing for your teammates. You just want to put out as much pressure as you can. The Fire Cluster ability, which is your primary, shoots out pellets similar to a shotgun. And if you played games like Overwatch, you would know Reaper does a great damage to tanks, and it's a very similar thing here. If you can get close enough to a squishy and land proper shots, you can also do some serious damage, and because of this, I think he's great at peeling. So if you see someone diving your backline, you can go back and help them very quickly. Blazing Blast is an explosive fireball that you can either throw at enemies for 40 damage, or you can throw them on the ground like a Molotov, and it'll do 25 damage per second. And you can actually stack them on the ground on top of each other to do an extra 25 per stack, up to 75 damage a second. And then if you activate Pyro Prison, which is your E, it will create a line between each field to cover an area. And if they all connect to each other with perfect line of sight, then anyone within that range will take 50 damage a second, and if they go through the walls, it's an additional 65. If you're in any danger whatsoever, you can also use his dive ability to escape things like Spider-Man or just bullets, so you can get behind cover very quickly, very easily.
I unleash my favorite time.
I am ready to put on a show.
Dropping walls and stacking Blaze Blast on enemy spawn door is a great way to start your game with ult charge. However, just keep in mind that the enemy supports might get their ults faster than your supports, so that can be a trade-off and something that you keep in mind. At first, I thought the Supernova ult was a little bit underwhelming. It just looked kind of pretty but didn't do much. But I found that it works a lot better when you put it inside of your Pyro Prison because it'll stack on the extra damage and it can do some good damage. However, if enemies avoid it, it's just kind of a cosmetic ult at times. So it's kind of a hit or miss ultimate. If you're lucky, you might be able to get a kill or two. You can drop your Pyro Prison first and then pop your ult inside the cage and then try to blow up anyone who's inside that range. It's not a major game-changing ultimate. It's not gonna determine your rank up or anything, but if you do it right, it can be effective. Your best bet is to just throw it at supports and just try to finish one of them off if you know that you don't have an escape or ults. However, alternatively, you can use it to get ults out of them, since you just build it so fast. The major issue with the Human Torch is that he cannot create his Pyro Prison on ground that is not leveled, which means if the map is bumpy or has like ramps. So because of that, maps like Domination, he's very strong since he can light up a huge portion of the map. And a big portion of that is the objective. So you can kind of give your team an advantage by just having the enemy team constantly ticking. So that can be a breaking point. However, on some convoy maps like Yggdrasil Path, it can kind of get a little bit awkward because that map is very bumpy. Like the road is always going up and down, just curves, tight paths. It's a little bit awkward. However, on maps like Midtown, there's big flat areas. You can just light up half the map and just build your ult really quickly. Our Cloak and Dagger doesn't have a headset, by the way. Oh my god,
Yeah,
BJ.
I mean, that's clear by him fucking dying.
He just ran past me and Wanda, who were low, straight to the middle of the road and got beaten to death by the thing.
That's awesome.
In my 10 hours, there's only one game where someone stole the Human Torch from me, so it's Jeff time. The doll with the big teeth.
Oh my god, why
Sweetest
come
thing
here,
that ever crawled onto dry land.
Hey.
Whoa, hey.
Were you?
Oh, sorry, little buddy. Wasn't trying
Oh.
to dehydrate you. My bad.
Hey,
Oh.
No, he's storming it.
What on earth has Namor done now? Should have stayed underwater, fellas.
It's happening. I'm
Stimming.
stimming.
I'm about to stim.
I'm stimming. Oh man, I'm about to stim. I'm about to stim.
Look behind you.
Both the Tokyo maps are also really good for the Human Torch since they have huge, large, flat areas that you can just light up. You would think that the best synergy would be with Storm or Sue, but honestly, here's the thing. The best team up is Luna and Jeff. The Jeff team up can add extra damage and slow your enemies, so enemies will just be stuck in your fire and just taking constant damage. And then the Luna can give you Snowflake, which is more consistent healing than Sue's shield for you.
It's just kind of beautiful, honestly. It was a huge AoE and it's just, oh my god.
Jeff adds extra damage and slows enemies inside your pyro prison, making your flames actually lethal. And then Jeff himself also provides a ton of extra damage, which you can use very easily to get kills. Don't get me wrong, but Storm's tornado buff is cool, but with this team up you have more uptime and you aren't dropping both of your DPS ult at once. And if you have a Storm and Human Torch, your neutral is not great since you have two flyers who aren't outputting as much. So if there's a team fight going on where you're not using ultimates and it's just dry fights, your team won't have a great time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Did you get stolen?
No, but my whole team has selected him.
We deliver this, the better.
I just can just bark.
He does that sometimes.
This one fucking episode, and it made me hate Adventure Time and all that shit.
And I'm taking it.
I'm taking it.
The Human Torch honestly just reminds me a lot of Season 0 Storm. He's not bad, and he's just there, but there's just way better options out there. There are so many characters who can do the duelist job that he does, better and faster. Both Moon Knight and Namor can constantly put out pressure on enemies. They can flank, they can peel for their supports, they have better ultimates, honestly. And they're just more reliable overall. And they can secure their own kills without needing teammates' help. At first I thought the Human Torch was just a little bit underwhelming, but after 10 hours of just playing him and testing things out, I think he has his moments, but if you play him in the right areas, focus on peeling and just burn down whoever you need to, he can be useful, but overall would I call him fantastic?
Say that again?
Not really. He's more just okay.
Okay. Alright.
No, can you pull up what he's actually saying?
Little Iron Fist here.
I think it's like Jing Hao.
I don't really know the Chinese well, so. Qigao Sheng Hong.
Yi Qiguang Shang Hong.